Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Weigh-In. Today's topic is going to be learn from your enemies. So, let me look up the definition of enemy. This is not Oxford's dictionary. This is Google. This is Wikipedia. So, enemy, a person who is actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. A hostile nation or its armed forces or citizens, especially in time of war. So, that's an enemy, actively opposed to you or whatever you're about.
Well, we're not on that scale. I only have a couple dozen tanks, so I can't even compete. But I think you mean like enemies as in people that you deal with who talk a lot of smack in front of you, try to overly impress you, and they can't bring it, right?
Yeah, and it's not like sword fighting, like, guns that drawn at dawn with the white glove drop. It's not like that level of enemies. Like anybody that you generally don't get along with, like it doesn't have to be adversarial, but anybody you generally don't get along with. What are the things that you can see that they do that may be good, adverse to the things that you don't like, and what also can you learn from like the things that they do that are bad, maybe like you do the opposite.
Well, clearly, that's how we're raised. If you have good parents and intelligent people surrounding you as you're growing up, your relatives, your uncles and your cousins, or whatever it might be, they're gonna, obviously they're gonna try to leave you a real good example of how things are, so you never learn to do anything. To learn anything bad, but
my family's all gangsters and pimps.
Oh, stop!
Shit! no, go ahead.
It would shock me if that.
There's some pimps in there. I got pimps,
but yeah. I'm half Sicilian. We got pimps too,
But like, don't lose your train of thought.
No. But so but obviously the subject matter is about learning from your enemies. There are enemies that people that I know in social gatherings that I learn from what they do, and it makes me a better person. A lot of times, somebody's always out to try to impress you. Whenever somebody sees what you're doing, no matter what it is, if you're an artist,
they're trying to one up you, maybe.
Yeah, it's always a one-upmanship, and they're not the kind of enemy where we want to put our thumbs in their throat or anything like that. But they try to prove that they're better than you are by just boasting. Maybe they have more money, they got a better car, or whatever it might be. I live kind of frugal. I have a van. I'm very happy with it. I don't need fancy clothes for the most part. As long as everything's happy and life around me is good, I'm very happy.
So you don't need to feed the ego like that.
Not necessarily. Maybe I do it on some of the things that I like books or music or movies and things, but it's still very limited.
But it's not pernicious. It's not malignant. It's not like you're trying to hurt somebody.
It's definitely not related to that at all. But there was a time when I was younger that maybe I would take that a little more personal, and that could have led to a fight or something, or a push and shove match back in the day of the beer muscle days, right? But even to this day, I still learn from people that are borderline enemies, or people that I can tell I don't really like. I might meet them in social gatherings or restaurants or even at the store.
No,
it
absolutely.
makes me a better person. I'm always looking for more knowledge, and sometimes people just give it to me by being stupid.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
How would you look at it when you run into idiots every now and then? Your enemies.
Yeah. There was a girl who wasn't necessarily an enemy, but I didn't like her socially. We worked together. We worked together at a supermarket chain. And, she worked in a carry-out cafe. So it's like the seating, the eating area. So, every time I would go there to buy food, I was always polite. I was always, I wasn't trying to charm her, but I was using my manners. She was always, drawl, what do you want? Here you go, kind of throw the money down, and just had a general look.
Malaise.
Yeah,
Were you younger at this time?
Yeah, I was probably mid-20s.
Was she mean to you too?
Yeah, she was mean to everybody. Yeah, so that being said, I took that energy, I took her traits, I took her behaviors, and I decided I'm gonna be the antithesis of this woman when I go out, and I work for customer service, because I was pretty much in the back, so I didn't have to deal directly with people, but having the feeling because I stopped going to the carry-out. I stopped going there because I'm I don't want to fucking deal with this chick. She's always being a fucking bitch for no fucking reason, and I don't get it. So I took that and I cultivated and honed them in the skills that I use to this day. Everybody that interacts with me at one of my jobs, if I'm dealing with customer service, is yo, this guy's my best fucking friend. I love this fucking guy. I want to see this guy. I've had people say I don't even drink coffee. I just come here to see you. You know.
That's a great feeling, isn't it?
No, absolutely.
Hey, but life experiences are key to growing up, especially when you're in your 20s. And this is the reason why I asked.
And you got to
how old you were.
analyze. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So when you're at that age, you're new at customer service. You're new at a job. Sometimes you're just doing the menial work, and you really haven't moved up to a position where people can get a chance to experience you.
No,
you're becoming a little nervous, a little green, a little apprehensive about how to even engage and talk. And you definitely learn from the people above you, and you definitely learn like that chick, like the lady you were talking about, that girl. Well, obviously, I don't want to be her because she's clearly going nowhere.
Yeah, you don't.
She probably takes that to her relationship, and to her loveliness, her children, her husband, whatever.
No, everything. And when you're good to people, like there's reciprocity. Like it's a reciprocal energy that gets bounced back. Like people want to help you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like people want to do things for you.
If you're the friendliest person. By learning from experience, I'm telling you, people just want to be your friend. They want to tell you things. They give you things. They want to work with you. It's like that's mind-boggling. It really is.
Yeah. Down a different lane, I've dealt with people who are extremely petty, like Herculean like level of pettiness, and like it tends to make me, because I'm a very introspective guy. So like I analyze my actions during the day, or maybe at the end of the day, and I'm like, I don't want to be petty. I don't like the characteristics of petty. I don't like the ethos. I don't like the zeitgeist of it. Like, it's just not something that I want. And don't get me wrong. If it's strategic, I'll be fucking petty. Okay? Like, I read Art of War. I read Sun Tzu Art of War. If I know petty's going to get under, somebody's skin and I need that, I'm definitely going to be petty. But, like, seeing people who are just generally petty, I fall back from that type of behavior because I don't like that.
I fall back from that any relationship too.
But I needed like a dose of it to analyze, and be like, this is not something that I want. Like I don't want to grow older and mature as an adult and be like this. You know?
Instead of being like friendly right from the get go, a lot of people they come at you with like a harder approach. Like it's a defensive mechanism to sort of prove their machismo,
Yeah.
as if they're better than thou. But it's like you don't really need to impress anybody. I think you impress people even better if you're straightforward and you're a truthful person. I mean, and you got to know how to read people too, because even the greatest talkers, I run into people like that who are like actor types that are such the greatest talkers and then you find out that they're drug addicts or they're full of shit and they stab you in the back in a heartbeat. So you got to be cautious when it comes to the arts, I think.
See, and the great thing about dealing with other people, like especially if you deal with people in a group, and you can see what turns the group off, and not that you have to follow the group, but like there are social mores that we tend to follow. This guy talks too much, so maybe you can take that lesson of, I'm gonna learn to like monitor my speech. I'm not gonna be so verbose, or
know when to change the subject.
Yeah, know when to change the subject. Maybe this guy's a little bit too touchy feely with the ladies. Oh, you don't want that, because like then the men and maybe some of the women are gonna have to step in, and sit this guy down like he's fucking 5 and be like, yo, can't be hugging everybody. So
especially today.
Yeah, I think our ability to just be able to like recognize other people's behaviors and like assimilate and unassimilate those in ourselves is definitely a good thing to look at other people, because like I said, it's not all just about enemies.
Sure.
It's that's just a broad stroke title. It's definitely a lot of different aspects of people, because like to me, you always want to try to like ameliorate your life. You always want to try to upgrade and improve. So anything that you can do to make yourself a better human and connect and interrelate with other people is definitely worth it.
Oh, sure. Think about it. Like every decade that goes by, like when you're, say you're in your 20s, you talked about things in the 20s, you're absorbing information you see from people. In the 30s, you get a chance to kind of like test out that knowledge and you hone it better and you have some of your own knowledge related to it. And as you get older and you're in your 40s, and for me, that's when I started realizing that no matter what I do, I can't even gain enough knowledge. So I had this insatiable lust to gather more knowledge as I got older. And it was mind-boggling because I didn't really care as much about it as I was younger. I was learning other social cues first.
Yeah.
And even to this day, at this age I can't get enough knowledge. I can't find enough stuff. And it's out there. I'm not saying I can't find it. I find so much of it that it really is, that's my drug, you might say.
Yeah. No, I look at my peers and I'm always evaluating and I'm like, why don't you guys read more? Why don't you guys like absorb more information? Like, now, everybody knows me. Like, I bet everything on knowledge. I bet everything on the brain. I bet everything on the mind. Like, the smarter you are, the better your life's going to be. And, like, my life is pretty fucking good. and it's because like I never stopped learning, and like I see it, it's like the case studies are here, fucking mediocre, fucking train wreck. This guy did okay, but this guy's a fucking piece of shit. Like you have to keep learning, but that'll definitely be a longer conversation.
Oh yeah, we can get. We're gonna readdress that for sure. In the earliest days when I first met you, that's one of the things that I really first came to really appreciate about you. You used to sometimes you'd bring by some stuff to eat or lunch and stuff out of the blue as a gesture. It's like, wow, people just don't do that out of the blue. Sometimes they'll do it once in their lifetime. And then we had some conversations, and then I find out later you used to shop at my place when you were younger, and I didn't even really remember you from that time, and I thought that was great. So, and you knew we were good people, so you were reciprocating by doing things for us, and we would do things for you. And again,
no, absolutely.
And we learned from each other, and we both realized we have a very similar groove, and hence obviously our great show and everything that we're putting a lot of our heart and soul into. And we knew we were, I knew I wasn't going to work with somebody that, and you weren't going to work with me if it didn't work out. So
no, that was easy. Like that was a piece of cake. That was never a thought, because like I already knew, because like I connect with people on an intellectual level, and then I feel for me all the emotional and psychological shit just aligns if you align with me on this level,
Yeah, it's like the stars. It's kind of it's magical, because I learn from you, you learn from me. And we a lot of our friends in our circles through the through the show and everything, and the cons and the shows that we do.
Yeah.
I think they can learn from our intellectualness also.
Yeah, and even like when people have done us wrong, whether it's at the show or misbehaved, been incongruent, whatever, we're still able to learn. This is what we have to watch for now. This is how we mediate like this particular situation, and and like so, like they say, you got to thank your haters a little bit. Because they allow you to grow. If everybody was good, there'd be no balance.
Sure.
So there's got to be a light side. There's got to be a dark side.
Oh yeah, well I know there's people who
that's not racial.
No, I know it's not. No, because I'm the black guy and he's the white guy. In case you couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, there's a lot of people that I know that think that I am their enemy. But they don't realize it's not really a true enemy. It's like I'm only that kind of a way towards the fact that you're a fuck up.
Yeah, and maybe you're trying to instruct or enlighten.
Yeah, like they can exactly enlighten. They can absorb what I'm trying to say. Because the reason why I'm not doing it because I want to be a mean person, whatever it might be. Whenever you run into problems like that, you just got to let people know like this is really the way you have to operate. A lot of people don't know how to operate. They don't understand the laws of life correctly.
Yes, and like
social cues, as you bring up once in a while.
Yeah.
Too.
You should always look to older people, but you don't look to older people blindly. You don't just say, "Oh, this guy's older than me. Tell me what to do." And this guy's like, "Yeah, we gonna rob this bank."
That's dangerous.
Like you definitely gotta piecemeal through everything and figure out like who's telling you what's good and what's good with what they're telling you. You also can look to younger people. Like somewhere down the line, like like little kids are human beings. How adults should act, and somewhere. Down the line, we lose that a little bit. So, like...
We do, because I think the circles that we grow up in, depending on your upbringing, your color, or whatever it might be, when kids are at a certain age, they don't know the difference between anything. They're all kids.
Yes.
And then somebody says something.
And they absorb everybody with no contestation. They're like, yeah, come here. You can play with us. It's cool. Come here. I don't care about your color. I don't care what your hair looks like. Everybody come here. Like, let's play together. As adults, like, that's when things get more separated and or segregated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, I know, like, once in a while I'll hear, like, some kid will come to school and make a comment that's I've clearly motivated and heard from a parent. And all of a sudden, as soon as everybody hears this stuff, they say they're 7 or 8 years old, 9 years old, it goes through the whole group of kids like a wildfire. And they start asking questions to the teacher, and they ask their parents, and then that's when the changes start.
But sometimes those conversations, whatever they may be, need to get started. Maybe not at that age.
Well, sometimes they come in kind of like more. They don't come in like kind of clean conversations. They come in. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't think about that. I'm sorry, miss. I didn't understand you correctly there. Yeah, I guess they have to be addressed. But sometimes a kid will bring just like, holy shit. What did the kid just really say?
And every parent has the right to. Yeah. Pick and choose when they want to address what with their kid, because it's their kid.
Yeah. Sure.
They can't be
concerns or whatever.
Yeah, that can't be forced on anybody.
But I think in closing, I think I'd like to say something that we both like to do, and that is to let people know what you should do is make notes, keep little journals.
Absolutely.
I know you have a post-it note policy that you do with
Yeah.
something. You spout all that great information and love stuff and thoughts to think on. I make notes about what I see when people in writing and stuff. And if you don't make notes, you're gonna be playing your damn video game your whole life. You don't want to do that.
Take notes about your enemies. You know, take notes about the people that you don't like, and try to like move in the opposite direction. You know, and just take notes about everything in life. Try to learn. Always be a student of life.
Literature, knowledge, science, you name it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely watch personalities, and I think it'll make you a better person in the long run.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. That was the weigh-in. What makes people think besides fucking the Terminator, you fucking old guys fucking scared of fucking Skynet and the fucking Matrix, the Architect and Agent Smith? What do you think makes AI so ready to just say human beings are like a problem? And I'm not saying that human beings are not a fucking problem.
Right.
But why would that be the next logical step for AI?
Well, it's not it's not the next logical step, but it is the overall logical step in general. Is it a speed factor? Human beings are not as barbaric as we were, thousands of years ago. Yeah.
We are evolving.
Right. But because of that, that's probably why we have a workforce that doesn't want to work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's related to barbarics.
Exactly.
People don't want to work. So you want humans to not work and the robots to do the work. Well, what do you do to the humans? Do you fucking eat them?
No.
Okay. What do you do with all these humans on the planet? We have more people in the world right now.
That is a totally
no, because the
different
robots
question.
no, it's not. It's all connected. You're not thinking of the big scheme here, pal.
I am thinking of big scheme.